Hello and welcome to my channel, I Win to Lose Gaming. Today I'm taking you through my experience with Tower Fantasy and 8 reasons why I think it's worth trying this fantastic upcoming anime open world RPG. This video is sponsored by Tower Fantasy, but all they asked me to do was to showcase a couple specific things, and the rest is all extrapolated from yours truly in terms of why I recommend putting this game on your radar. If you do like what you see, be sure to smash that link down in the description below to pre-register for Tower Fantasy's upcoming release. Number 8. The character customization. Lately, I have felt deprived of being able to play with a customized character. And if you've been feeling that way as well, Tower Fantasy has you covered. This is one of the best anime-styled character builders in the industry. I could honestly spend hours with the gazillions of sliders, hair settings, accessories, color wheels, eye patterns, etc, etc. There's already 24 front hairstyles, 7 middle hairstyles, and 22 back hairstyles, which leads to a ridiculous 3,696 different hair combinations just on release. Now this is one of the features that they asked me to specifically showcase, which is where people are able to vote for their favorite submitted styles, and you'll be able to find tons of awesome characters created by other players. There are unlockable free costumes by exploring each region to a certain point. Sadly, I haven't gotten close to unlocking any of these free costumes yet, but you can bet that when the game comes out, this is definitely something I'll be prioritizing. Number 7. A really rewarding exploration experience. I've been exploring a lot in various games, but haven't felt heavily rewarded while exploring. Well, Tower Fantasy has some very generous rewards that actually respect your time. Just by exploring and solving certain puzzles or opening specific widgets gives you these black nucleuses. These black nucleuses can be used in this black nucleus banner, which, while starting your adventure, provides a great sense of progression and even some SR weapons and simulacras. Don't worry, I'll explain what I know about weapons, simulacras, and rarities later. Anyway, you also get plenty of gold nucleus as well, which are used for the better gacha that can drop SSR weapons / simulacras. In just a couple of hours of playing and exploring this game, and playing it very organically might I add, I've done 40 black nucleuses pulls and a 10 gold nucleus pull. Now admittingly, I haven't gotten to the point where I've depleted the map of its resources, so I can't comment on the grind after the initial heavy influx of rewards. However, the dynamic and fun world is absolutely worth an initial journey through, and I've had a blast exploring it so far. The movement while exploring is also very fast-paced, with your character being able to essentially always be dashing without consuming stamina. Now you do have stamina, but from what I've really observed, it is primarily used for climbing, at least during the exploration phase. And I'm constantly getting distracted by this puzzle here, this little collectible over there, and really it's just the constant influx of little things to do that end up distracting you from your main objectives. Your best friend that you met 2 hours ago is dying and suffering a horrific fate? I'm off to save her. Ooh, a dandelion. Number 6. Relics. The relics, as they're called in this game, add another sense of sci-fi fantasy and the feeling of power and customization. These are equipped 2 at a time, and I've personally unlocked 3 so far. The jetpack, missile launcher, and hoverboard. The jetpack gives a huge vertical boost, while the hoverboard allows you to go down water and hills incredibly fast. Again, both of these add an incredible feeling of fluidity and flexibility to my adventure. The missile launcher breaks certain destructible terrain and helps you maim your enemies with missiles, which is pretty awesome. And while not technically a relic, your vehicle provides a huge burst in ground movement speed across the terrain in Tower of Fantasy. I can't wait to see what fun, cool, and fantastic mounts they add in the future. And that just goes on back to the earlier reason number 8, which was customization. This adds yet another thing to customize to your taste and to show off your personal quirkiness to everyone around you. My only gripe with the relic system is that I can only equip 2 at a time. I think this was done with mobile players in mind, but I would love to not be restricted to only 2 relics. Number 5 is the combat. Of course, how could I not talk about combat in a game like this? So far, I'm still quite unfamiliar with the technicalities and nuances of combat, but I will share what I know. You can equip 3 different weapons at any time, and swapping between them is fairly intuitive and pretty fast. Each weapon deals a certain type of damage like volt, fire, etc., and hitting your enemy fills up the weapon's discharge ability, which when you switch to another weapon will perform the powerful discharge ability. The combat is overall quite fast-paced for most of the weapon types, although I did get this hammer which is very slow and does a lot of big numbers, which I do enjoy. And from what I've observed, Tower of Fantasy's combat system has a lot of room for skill expression, and I can only imagine how good players can end up becoming once they actually master this game. The Phantasm system, which is also something they specifically asked me to highlight, slows time when you perform a perfect dodge on an enemy's attack. This heavily rewards you to actually dodge the enemy attacks instead of, for example, just face tanking through different things. It also provides you an instant discharge, thus allowing you to do some huge wombo combo damage to your opponents. While I'm still a complete noob at this game, I can't wait to dive deeper into the mechanics and learn all the little tricks to optimize combat. Number 4. Difficulty and content. So difficulty in Tower of Fantasy is an interesting thing. Never before have I fought a random mushroom hanging out in the overworld, only to literally take minutes to kill it. And then in story missions, enemies appear to be much squishier and balanced around the fact that it's just you. I believe this is due to the fact that the release version will have a shared open world system, where your fellow wanderers, which are other players, will smack the terribly threatening mushrooms with you. And this was a pattern that I noticed. The overworld mobs are quite tanky and dangerous, requiring me to activate serious gamer mode to take them out. I came close to death multiple times against various random elite overworld monsters. As such, I appreciate having a bit of difficulty like this in my games, as if I want to avoid them, I can. And when I do want a challenge, sometimes I'll tackle these guys alone. As honestly, other games that I've been playing, like various other mobile games, have been feeling a bit too easy. I can't wait to see what the endgame has in store for us, but of course in this video I'm unable to comment on the endgame. Number 3. Characters and NPCs. So what kind of anime game would this be without it being filled to the brim with delectable waifus and husbandos? Tower of Fantasy also doesn't get lazy with their NPCs, and so far pretty much every named NPC I've encountered looks like they could be the protagonist of an anime. I actually like this a lot, as in too many animes and games, your character stands out like a sore thumb with their epic hair, crazy costumes, and weird pets. However, in Tower of Fantasy, most named NPCs appear to have a unique and well thought out design. Seriously, almost any of these characters could be collectible simulacras, and I wouldn't complain. And also your little assistant character here, Mia, is actually quite adorable. And she's not as annoying as you might expect her to be. She runs around on the ground and doesn't fly around constantly bugging you like various fairies in other games. And she has a very endearing little speech glitch where, because I guess her AI isn't perfect, she'll stutter a bit. Overall, I couldn't have asked for a better little companion than Mia here. Number 2, the gacha. So what kind of anime gacha game would this be without collectible waifus and husbandos? Well, Tower of Fantasy's gacha system is a bit different. You obtain simulacras, which are AIs based on legendary warriors, aka you get an AI copy of your favorite waifu or husbando. Obtaining these combat AIs will also provide you with their weapon, which you can equip. After obtaining a simulacra, you can project their image instead of your custom character's appearance. And this also doesn't affect what weapons you can equip, as any simulacra projection can use any 3 weapons that you choose. Now, I haven't progressed far enough to see if there are any combat benefits for using specific simulacras, but I digress. Simulacras are tied to SR and SSR rarity weapons, and getting copies of these simulacras allows you to advance them up to 6 times. So in order to max out an SR weapon, you need a total of 7 copies. Assuming this is the same for SSR weapons, I can see this being quite expensive to max out an SSR weapon, but I don't expect you to need this sort of power level to complete most of the stuff in the game. And so far from what I've seen, the power gain for getting, let's say, 6 copies of a weapon isn't outrageous based on what I'm reading for these descriptions. Also, the Golden Nucleus gacha has an SSR pity of 80 pulls, and I'm assuming something similar like this will come out on release day. I personally cannot stand gacha games that do not have a pity system, as being infinitely unlucky has actually caused me to quit many gacha games. So knowing that your eventual hard work and investment into your game will yield an SSR character even if you do have to hit 80 is reassuring and will honestly keep me playing. Number 1. Free to play and coming soon. From what I've heard, the PvP in this game is normalized, so whales don't actually have an advantage here. Now, I can't really say the same about mobile versus PC because I'm sure PC players are going to have an easier time controlling their characters, but hey, there are going to be some awesome mobile PvPers as well. This is an incredibly free-to-play friendly approach. Now, I don't know about the endgame PvE aspect of it, and if there will be leaderboards for that and whether or not, for example, whaling will help you there. And for example, any leaderboards actually matter. Regardless, I'm already impressed by the supposedly normalized PvP in Tower of Fantasy, and I expect the game to be fully enjoyable for free-to-plays and whales alike. Tower of Fantasy will be coming soon in Q3 of 2022, which could be any day now. It is free to play and will be available on PC and mobile, with Steam and Epic coming in the future. So far, I felt no desire to shovel boatloads of cash at this game, but hey, who knows when it actually comes out. This looks like a great game to play with your friends as you embark together on your fantasy adventure. So go and smash that pre-registration link down below, and I'm personally really excited for this game's inevitable release as well as seeing you there. Let me know if you'd like more content from me on Tower of Fantasy when it's actually out. As always, I appreciate every single one of you. This is I Win to Lose, signing out.